As flood risk grows in Canada, so too does the need for comprehensive maps and modeling. But how can this data benefit brokers and carriers? We're live at Insurance Business Magazine's Flood Risk and Insurance Masterclass to find out.
I suppose we came into the Canadian market a couple of years ago, just after the floods in Calgary and Toronto. And we came to an environment which I suppose is unusual for us working around the world, where there was no residential flood risk insurance available, but clearly something needed to be done at the time. We had a set of flood data which we've seen really rapid take-up by a lot of the industry. And what this helps you do is graduate your understanding of flood risk. So for the first time, we have consistent data covering the entire landmass of Canada that can help you understand the likelihood and the impact of flooding on a property. I think it's unusual, and it's the only G8 country up till now that hasn't had residential flood insurance. So that came as something that was a surprise to me. Now, that's changing rapidly. We're seeing a lot of products being launched into the market, and we're helping those insurers understand and categorize that risk and really support the implementation of overland flood insurance. So if you have no understanding of where the flood's likely to have, you really are somewhat blind in terms of, you can't offer a new product. So it's a fundamental requirement for developing new products to have an understanding of flood risk. I suppose what we're seeing is that we're on the beginning of a journey. So a lot of the underpinning data here is still quite poor. We really need some good terrain data. Having said that, some of the data we can get to support a lot of the modelling for Environment Canada is brilliant. So it's not a terrible picture, but there's a long way to go to get really high resolution, really accurate mapping. And I reckon there's I'd give it more than 5 years perhaps to get there. I think it comes back to data again. If we can get good data, we can model anyway. So there are specifics to Canada, such as ice jam, snow melt. So the seasonal snow melt has a big impact on flooding. And so we've had to take account of that, and we've been working with hydrologists from the University of Waterloo to make sure we're getting the Canadian hydrology, the estimation of flow, right. So that's been probably our biggest challenge, is coming to a different geography and really getting to grips and understanding that.